Magic Overtime with Dante Galante is brought to you by Tobacco Free Florida.
Welcome back to Magic Overtime with Dante and Galante. It's time now for the Orlando Sentinel Magic Calendar. Here's a look at the Magic's Eastern Conference semifinal schedule, and you can listen to every game on AM 580 WDBO and the Orlando Magic Radio Network. Remember, Overtime fans, now is the time to get season tickets for the 2009-10 season. $27 Upper Bowl seats are only $13, and $70 Lower Bowl seats are only $34. Call 407-89-MAGIC for more information.
Thanks, Mad Dog. Well, the nice thing about traveling is Galante and I get to catch up with all kinds of interesting people. As you know, last week we sat down with World Be Free, but for this show, we had the honor of catching up with Celtics icon Tommy Heinsohn. Dante and Galante here in Boston with NBA legend and Celtic icon Tom Heinsohn. And Tom, you're the only one now, God bless Red Auerbach, that has seen all 17 Celtic championships. This never gets old for you, does it?
No, you know, I played in some, I coached some, and then I've been broadcasting a lot of them too. So each one has its own flavor, each one has its own feel. And this last year's team really was a throwback team to when I played, you know, total teamwork.
Now, Tommy, Dante's nervous because he's from
Dante's nervous.
He's nervous because
Dante should not be nervous.
He is from the Boston area, and this is like talking to a guy on his mantle right now. You got to understand that he's very nervous.
This is huge, and being a huge Celtic guy, does this burn holding that Magic microphone?
We know how you disdain the enemy.
Disappear.
We're surprised you actually came over because we thought as soon as you heard it was an Orlando program, you would immediately say no.
I admire everything they've done down there from the very beginning with Pat Williams, and they built a franchise. They kept it there. They try to satisfy the fans. They've always been competitive. They had the guy that. The only mistake they made was letting the guy that's coaching us now get away.
Right. Sure.
Well, talk about the big guy we have in the middle, Tommy. I know being an NBA fan, you got to enjoy watching Dwight Howard and the way he plays the game.
Well, he plays with energy. He's still, of course, very, very young. He's got some things to learn, but he's got a tremendous upside. He's far from being a finished product, and he will get better because he's competitive. There's little things he's got to learn, but basically he's still going to be the force on your basketball team in the middle, and how the teams defend him affects how the other guys can play.
Now, does he remind you of anybody? I mean, you've been around the game a long time, Tommy. Is there anybody specifically that he reminds you of off the top of your head?
Well, I never saw anybody. Shaq is bigger and was a terrific athlete too, like him. Will Chamberlain was a terrific athlete, but he didn't look like this kid. And Russell was the fastest guy on our team, and incidentally, he's going to be at the game tonight.
He turned us down, by the way. He didn't want to talk to us. Yeah.
I don't know why.
That's okay, though.
See how he is.
Yeah, that's all right. But what do you enjoy now about the game? Having seen so many people come through, I mean, did you enjoy winning a title as a player or as a coach? And what do you enjoy now?
Well, I always enjoyed competitive people, and from my playing days, I was blessed to play with guys that wanted to win. Most of them, in fact, all of them were on some kind of championship team when they were in college, so they brought that spirit with them to the pros. Then when I coached, I searched out those kind of guys. Red Auerbach first was the man that said, we want people that know how to win. And that's what they've done. And I admire the young kids coming in, the 18-year-olds that were coming in, who are very, very competitive. I'd like to watch them grow, like a guy like Al Jefferson, a guy like Rondo. They grow as players, and they keep their nose to the grindstone. So it's not, to me, it's not about winning championships anymore. It's watching players grow.
Now, when we watch you as fans, now we watch you on the TV. Now, when Dante and I were growing up, you were doing the CBS games with Dick Stockton, and that was always fun for myself. And now you're doing Celtics games strictly. And one thing I notice is your disdain sometimes for the officiating. Does that ever get you in trouble?
That doesn't happen.
No, it does. YouTube has a clip. It says Tommy Heinsohn goes berserk. That's the title of it. It's my favorite one.
You have a huge following, though. People love hearing that.
I will tell you that one of the reasons why I have a little bit of a disdain for the official is that when I was coaching, I got thrown out of a game. And in those days, they used to send a report to you on what they were sending to the league and what the recommendation was.
Okay.
And I got a copy of the report, and it said, you are fined $250 for acting like a maniac. And maniac was spelled M-E-N-I-A-K.
Oh, wow.
So I said, I'm not paying this until this guy learns how to spell maniac.
Signed Larry O'Brien. Is that who signed that one?
No.
Oh boy.
Are there some officials that try to avoid you when they come into town? You probably got a good rapport with most of them, I would.
Yeah. I mean, I don't get in their way, they don't get in my way,
right.
you know.
All right, one last thing before we let you go. There was 1 year as a player that you didn't win a title. So I got to ask you, what happened that year? I mean, it must have all just fell apart.
Did you just decide to let somebody else have it that year?
I mean, that was
No,
nice of you guys.
Russell got hurt in the finals, missed 4 games, so that kind of was the story. Of course, St. Louis would never agree to that.
Right,
they beat us,
of
you
course.
know. We won it fair and square, and so. But that's the only time that I played that we didn't win it. And Russell won 11 out of 13 years.
Pretty good.
And the only year somebody legitimately beat him where he was there the whole time was Philadelphia.
All right, before we let you go, is there anything we can do as Orlando Magic members to get a Tommy point?
Yeah.
Is something we can
Well,
do to
you
get-
already got one. I mean, you've been so nice.
All right.
Tommy points for everybody.
Yes, Tommy
Right.
points all
It
around.
doesn't get any better than that. Tommy Heinsohn, we appreciate it. Thanks so much. That's our show for this week. Always, and a special thanks to Galante, Kevin Holden, Mad Dog back in the studio. We'll see you next week right here on Magic Overtime with Dante and Galante. Magic Overtime with Dante and Galante is brought to you by Tobacco Free Florida.